The next speaker is John Reese. He's from the People's Assembly.
Well, you know, I think it's very clear that we face the most dramatic and serious crisis for 2 generations, an unprecedented cost of living crisis. And now, a recession threatened to last a year, which will put nearly 1 million people on the dole, according to the Bank of England. And thirdly, a vicious, racist government that is determined to take away our right to strike, our right to be in a union, our right to protest on the streets, our freedom of expression. This triple crisis will take everything that we have to defeat it. But we have the power to defeat this government. As long as we remember this, that working people come in every conceivable shape and size. There are no barriers to being in the working class, whatever race you are, whatever colour you are. We are men and women. We love in a variety of different ways. We come from many different countries. We work in many different industries. But if we are united, we can take them down. And you know, this is a government, it's a government which likes to boast about diversity. It likes to boast about what a diverse cabinet there is. But you know, I look at this government and I see only one colour. The colour of money. That's the colour that this government is. It's a government that worships profit, that can see no person that it wouldn't impoverish if it builds their profits, no person that it wouldn't humiliate, no person that it wouldn't see ill or suffering if it made them a profit. And we have to say, the vast majority of ordinary working people in this country do not share those values. We want free health care. We want houses over people's heads. We want them to be able to eat and heat. And we want them to be able to enjoy a full life with their families and to bring up their children and their grandchildren in a society which won't punish them. We want them educated. And to do that, we have got the fight of our lives. And the People's Assembly will be calling demonstrations around the country on the 19th. It will be calling an activist conference early next year so that every strand of this movement, every trade union, every campaign can come together to take on this government. We have always acted as a platform to amplify your voices, to organise people who aren't yet organised, to bring together those who are organised. That's our task, because ordinary working people only have 2 strengths. They have numbers and they have organisation. And without an organisation, even the numbers won't do it. So get organised, get in your union, get on your picket line, get on the streets and join us and bring this government down.
Thank you so much, John. So you heard it here first. On the 19th is a trade union leader who I have a massive amount of respect for. It's Mark Serwotka of the PCS Union.
Thanks very much, Laura, and fantastic to see so many people here in Trafalgar Square, and I'm particularly proud to see so many PCS flags and trade union banners. Now, who agrees with me that Matthew Hancock, who's gone off to the jungle, thinks the rest of them should piss off and join him? and we'll have a general election. Thanks very much. But I want to make just a couple of really important points. Look around this square. Have you seen people sleeping on the streets? The average life of a man sleeping on the streets is 45 years old. Of a woman, it is 41 years old. Look around you and look at the women here today. The average life expectancy will be lower than their mothers. They are making us work longer, making our pensions worse, cutting our pay, and they privatise the profits while they nationalise the debts. The criminals in charge of this country saw their friends short-selling the pound and making hundreds of millions, while our mortgages went up, our rents went up, and more people are struggling to turn the lights on or feed their kids. In my own union, the PCS, we represent people who work for government, civil servants. 45,000 of them claim benefits because their wages are so low. 40,000 are using food banks. Food banks in government offices. Have you ever heard anything like it? Meanwhile, our children rack up tens of thousands of pounds of debts if they go to university, and they come out into an economy with low pay, attacks on their trade unions, and the future looks bleak. But comrades, that can change. We can change it by having marches like today, by campaigning together, and doing two simple things. The sickest thing this government has done is having a Home Secretary who dreams of deporting people fleeing war and poverty to Rwanda. Well, let me tell you this, not a single person has been deported yet to Rwanda. Not a single person has been on a boat that was turned round in the Channel, because my union, along with Care for Calais, fought them and defeated them in the courts. And let me tell you something today. Today we have launched our latest legal challenge against the disgusting conditions in the Manston Detention Centre. 4 times overpopulated, people catching COVID, MRSA, monkeypox and diphtheria. We again will fight them in the courts. But here's the thing I'll finish on. Next week, my union will announce the results of 214 separate strike ballots in every government department and every public sector employer. We already have cleaners working down the road going on strike for 5 days. Low-paid workers in Liverpool working for HGS, a company owned by billionaires, have had 20 days of strikes. Next week we hope to announce that hundreds of thousands of more civil servants will be joining them. And here's a thought for you all. If 6 French workers going sick at Dover caused a 30-mile queue on the motorway and 24 hours delay, think what 1,000 PCS members on a strike at Dover will do in this country. So I'm going to finish with this message. If we win our ballots next week, the pledge of myself, Fran Heathcote, our national president, and our executive, is when we go on strike, we will be asking the RMT, the CWU, the UCU, and any other union, if you'll strike, we will go on strike the same day as you, because the more of us that go on strike, the more chance we have of winning. So colleagues, leave this square with your head held high, proud that you came here. Look at those people sleeping rough, look at those people struggling, and say, we have the power, we have the determination, we can win. Support the strikes, drive the Tories out, and win for working people.
Hello, Trafalgar Square, and hello, London, and welcome to everyone that's come down in the rain. We're a little bit sorry about the disruption. You couldn't get a train maybe today, but I want to guarantee you one thing. Our dispute is paused, the action is paused to allow for talks, but this dispute is not over. We are pressing on for a square deal for our members on pay, conditions and job cuts. and we will not stop till our members decide that this dispute is resolved, and they will take the decision. And if we don't get a deal off Network Rail and the train operators, we will strike and strike again until we bring them to the table and get a deal. And the message has to go out from this meeting and every meeting, in every town and village, in every county in this country, right across the UK, in every working class community. We are going to organise in our trade unions. We are going to organise in our campaign groups. We're going to organise in every church, every town hall, every mosque, every gurdwara, every temple, anywhere the workers are, we will be there. We will be there in every campaign, whether it's a library or whether it's our NHS. We're going to save our services, we're going to save our welfare state, and we're going to kick these Tories out of Parliament. And the message has got to be to every politician that seeks to represent the workers of this country. You've got to sort out which side you're on in these disputes. Do you sympathise and stand with the working class? Stand with the strikers? Stand on the picket lines? Or do you wait for your opportunity, trying to be some kind of neutral? There are no neutrals in this struggle. We need everyone who declares themselves to be a progressive, to be a Democrat, to stand up and say no more anti-trade union laws, no more minimum service levels, no suppression of the workers' movement. We've got to get everyone in a trade union, every trade union campaigning, and every trade union taking on the bosses at every opportunity to defend our people and to defend our class. And when we're ready to do that, we will have a movement that's unstoppable, because no matter what they think, whether they're the media, the commentators, the politicians, they will always hate us, but we don't care. If the workers are united, we are an unstoppable force, and that force is going to change this country for the better. So everyone united, no division on the base of race, religion, occupation, or wherever you come from in this country. No division on the basis that you might have had to come to find a better life. Every worker is welcome. No one is illegal. We are a united working class, and we are going to win for our people. Thank you very much. Solidarity.
Is a former leader of the Labour Party. It's Jeremy Corbyn.
Thank you, Laura, and thank you, every one of you, for being here today. Every one of you has come out to show solidarity. Solidarity with those unions in dispute at the present time, defending their members and trying to get a decent pay rise. Solidarity with all those campaigns of disability rights, trying to make sure they are part of our campaign. Solidarity with those homeless campaigns that are here. Solidarity with those campaigns that are fighting for a decent living wage and social justice within our society. And also solidarity with all those that have sought a place of safety on our shores and have been so disgustingly treated by this government. We today here in Trafalgar Square are a voice for humanity and a voice for unity of all of those struggles. That is what makes us strong, and that is what makes us different. We heard earlier at the start of the rally of the fantastic result that Barnet Unison had achieved by their action, by their solidarity action of making sure that one of their members did not lose their job. And they won that dispute. All over the country, there are many other disputes going on. Don't be afraid. Join in and support. Support TfL workers next Thursday when they're in dispute. But also those like the Bakers Food and Allied Workers Union members at Samworth's in Leicester who are campaigning for union recognition. Join with them, join with all the others in strengthening our movement. Next week, a week after, the government is going to produce yet another budget. The last budget promised to borrow lots of money, to give lots of money to those that already had humongous amounts of money. The Prime Minister lasted a couple of weeks and the Chancellor even less than that. And we now have a new Prime Minister and a new Chancellor. I don't have high hopes of this budget coming up. What I suspect is it'll be another tax giveaway to the super rich. It'll be another pass-by on the other side for all those that are avoiding tax and putting their money into tax havens. I suspect it will be another attack on local government and health, and it won't do anything for the wages of those people that desperately need a wage rise. The cause of inflation is not wage rises. The cause of inflation is tax evasion, tax avoidance and overcharging by the energy companies and many others. They found money to bail out the energy companies and factor in a 100% rise in prices. That will only last until April. Goodness knows what happens after that. There is, however, an answer of doing things in a different way. You invest in people. You raise wages. You raise benefits. You stop the profiteering by the energy companies and take them into public ownership. And you do the same with the railway companies, with Royal Mail, and those water companies that have been ripping us off for 30 years, polluting our rivers, destroying our natural environment, all on the altar of profits to distant hedge funds. That is the reality of what modern Britain is about. Now, how do we get rid of them and how do we change it? The answer is here in this square. It is the unity of all of those campaigns and people that want to see a different, better country, and one that works in solidarity with people around the world. To build that world of peace and justice, not of war. To build that world of unity, not of division. Last weekend, I had the great privilege of going to Brazil to observe the election. And I think we should, from here in London in Trafalgar Square in Britain, say congratulations to Lula and the coalition that won that election. And you know what? They didn't win that election by triangulation and appealing to the right-wing media. They won that election by the solidarity of the trade unions, the urban homeless, the landless people, the environmental campaigners. And as a result, President Lula narrowly won that election on a pledge of a different approach to the environment, a green industrial revolution. It's in our hands. We can build the world we want. We can make the world a better place in global solidarity as well as in our own solidarity. Our media will always seek to disempower us and tell us we don't matter. Well, they've got another thing coming. We are very, very many, and they are very, very few. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jerry. Thank you to everybody who is gathering here today. I just want to say, first of all, to introduce this demonstration, a massive solidarity to every single working class person either preparing for or taking industrial disputes, withdrawing their labour in the RMT, in Unite the Union, in the NEU, in the CWU, in PCS, in GMB, FBU, Unison, ASLEF, to all of them who are standing up for for their terms and conditions and their safety. Good afternoon and welcome to Trafalgar Square. I am the National Secretary of the People's Assembly, and this demonstration today is a demonstration against austerity. It's a demonstration against the cost of living crisis, and it is for a general election. This demonstration is a protest against the greed of those who take millions and billions of pounds from the pockets of working class people, and they make our lives miserable in the process of doing so. And we are here to stand up against a political class who are complicit and who entrench those conditions. But we have to acknowledge this. It is not about individuals, is it? This is how the economic system works. It is the job of the economic system to derive profit ruthlessly from working class people, from our labour, from our resources, from the planet, irrespective of the cost to every single person here. There is no morality to the system, not an ounce of morality to the capitalist system, no moral wrangling. There isn't a drop of sweat that drips from the millionaires and the billionaires' foreheads when they think about what they do next to get even more profit. The ruthlessness of that ideology pulls wealth further and further into the hands of a tiny minority of people. And to do that, they also have to pull power further and further away from us. The Tories in government are propping up this failing economic system at the expense of us all. And we see these most brutal attacks in our communities, in our homes, and the strain is felt by us in our workplaces, in our homes and in our communities. And at the People's Assembly, we want us to take a long view of austerity, a long view of what they've done to us. Let's think about it. Children's centres, libraries, swimming pools, leisure centres, cut, gone, shut down. The social security system, and big up to Deepak, by the way, who've been campaigning on this for years. The social security system decimated before our very eyes. The pay of working class people attacked every year. Rapid outsourcing and privatisation, and millions of people in poverty. And alongside that, a fundamental attack on our civil liberties, and we're going to hear about that today. The ability to vote for a Prime Minister just being one example. A tiny minority of people in that building down there deciding on all of our behalf who was going to be our Prime Minister, to impose another round of brutal austerity, but also the police crime courts and sentencing bill, the public order legislation, the Nationality and Borders Act, the agency labour, all destined to try and stifle and break our struggle against them. They have become more authoritarian as our conditions worsen. And for what? For what? It's to maintain the status quo. So we have to stand up, we have to rise up, and we have to make them feel our power. I'm going to be chairing this rally today, and this demonstration is a very important marker to say as a class that we are getting organised. Because it is only when working class people come together as an organised force that we will put pressure on the economic and political system. We need them to take notice. We need them to be scared of us. I want that political class to be scared of us. I want them to feel our power, and ultimately they will feel our power, won't they? They're going to feel our power in our workplaces, in our communities, and on the streets. So, a general election is really just the start. Our discontent goes much deeper, doesn't it? And so do the answers. And we must admit, and this is an important point, that a demonstrably weak opposition led by Keir Starmer, when in government, will be faced with the same economic conditions and the same contradictions that this government are faced with, and trying to appeal to the right-wing press and the market. So when it comes to it, if they are on government, they will feel our power as well. We're interested in a world free of poverty, free of war. We can imagine a world where no child is hungry, where no worker is broken. But to see that, and to feel that, and to make it happen, we must organise and take that power for ourselves. We are in the battle of our lives, for our livelihood, for our planet. We will rise to that challenge in every single sense, in every community, in ruthless defence of our class.